Om Paranchikani Vratrinat Swayambhu Tasmat Parang Pashyati Nantaratman Kaschid Dhira Pratyagatma Namaiksha Avrita Chakshur Amritat Viditvan. The self-existent one destroyed or injured the senses, as it were, by making them go outwards. A certain wise person desiring immortality turns the eyes inwards and beholds the self, the Atman, a self-existent one, consciousness. Conundrum of the seer and the seen. I'll try to take you through this conundrum. Conundrum is a difficult problem, or a question. So, in Sanskrit, it's called the seer and the seen. One who witnesses, the seer. And what is seen? It's called Drik and Drishya. Now, the eyes are just representative of all the senses, as we know. The skin, touch, the nose would smell, the ears for hearing, and the eyes for seeing, and the tongue for tasting. But we have also other senses like interoception, proprioception, vestibular, etc. But they are more concerned with the internal pressure, pain, balance, etc. So we won't go into these extra senses. Of course, people say, oh, are there extra sensory perceptions? As for Vedanta, it says, no. You got 5 senses and they are enough. So, we'll take the eyes, they see as a representative of all the senses. Now, we see this whole world. This is called the seen, and it's made of various shapes and sizes and colors, and small and big and everything. But the eyes are the seer. Like Sherlock Holmes says, you see, but you do not observe. And that has been the problem with us. We are very selective in our perceptions. And at times it's our choice, but mainly it is the sensory and the motor and then the mental faculties that are very selective. So there are innumerable things. And this world outside is what connects us to it. Like when we see it, there's a clear distinction between the subject and the object. There is no problem at all. But the strange fact is, whether we like that object or objects or no, we get identified with it in a way. Though distinct, yet there's an identification. If there was no identification, there would be no perception. So this external world that we see around is in a way connected to us. We are identified with it. For the simple reason is, well, this external world, if it wasn't there, you wouldn't live. You got to breathe, you got to eat, you got to drink water, whatever. So this entire world is labeled as the experienced. And this is the experiencer. And at a deeper level, the experiencer and experience are connected. So much for. We think we are separate, we are bodies, and my body, my choice, this, that, and all. Nobody's body belongs to them. It belongs to the world outside. So, all biological life, every life that we know of, life as it, even from the smallest bacterium, you will find that they have senses, sensory apparatus. Even some fish or whatever living in the dark, they don't need eyes, but they develop the sense of touch. So there are beings with 5 senses like us. There are beings with 2, 3, 4. But they have to sense the external world, the world of experience. This is the world that is called the seen. And yet at the same time, we know how deficient our senses are. They are so limited. We can't see better than an eagle. We cannot smell better than a dog. We cannot react as fast as a cat. It's just impossible. So, though it is a whole world that's opened up, yet we are living in a very confined space. And so, human ingenuity has created these instruments that can peer far, which means far into the past. When we see these galaxies, they were like that in the past, a few billion, million years ago. So we can see things in the past. We can see further. And we can see things deeper with all these various microscopes, right down to electron microscopes, and we can see. That's why our generation or this generation or the preceding, they are called smarter. Only thing, we opened the world a little more than our ancestors. So it's not, we have not become smarter rather, but then our worldview has opened up. And this has far-reaching consequences for us. Where is our place in this universe? First was there this village or this tribe or this town was mine and I identified myself. Now we are identifying ourselves with humanity and the whole universe. Where is our place? And as we are pushing these boundaries further and further away, we are seeing that the world of experience is growing larger and larger and larger. So this is the expansion of sensory knowledge. Yeah. But we also have something called, we see this world, but there are something called emotions also. We like certain things, we dislike certain things we see. Whether you like it or dislike, you got to see it. Swami Vivekananda says, yeah, oh, nice aroma comes and you breathe in deeply, and then something stinking comes and you recoil. But you got to smell it, whether you like it or not. So this is, suppose I see a green apple. Like, I don't say I am a green apple, and yet I'm connected to that green apple. So I may like it in the morning and not in the evening. Or somebody likes green apples and somebody likes red apples, and somebody doesn't like apples at all. But you've got to see it. That's the seer. This is in a way bondage. The senses are bondage. And to couple that with various emotions, joy and sorrow and love and hates and likes and dislikes, all these are emotions which impinge on the seen. And then what happens is we become very selective. Our closeted world becomes even more smaller then. And this is the reason why we have, almost all of us have biases, don't worry. We like certain things, dislike certain things, we judge things, and that is that. But yet, we try to enhance our sensory experience. So when a particular input is coming over and over and over again, the senses becomes kind of dulled, deadened. And then we need to wet it like the whetstone. Swami Vivekananda says, like wetting the cloyed senses. The senses become cloyed, and we want. And this is one of the reasons why the whole world, and especially advertisers and everybody knows, they want to give you new and new things. They don't want to keep you with the old things. Maybe 2 days, 3 days old, and they will change the packaging, change the color, change the content, change this. Will keep you constantly caught up, and we are getting into that loop. So this has been the problem with our sensory knowledge. So though they are essential, yet we know they are also binding us, and we feel trapped. Now, there's another thing. I see certain things and I recall seeing it in a different place and different time. That means there's something called a memory. Now, memory is an important component in every perception. You just cannot have simple perception. It's a dynamic play of something coming from the external world and your own memories. What are memories? Your old experiences. They are all there, and you refer it to them. Now, in the case of a green apple, you also know, okay, there is a green apple, there is a red apple, and there's an apple tree, and then there's a grocery store, and then you have the names of all the grocery stores, and you have apple trees and this and that. It's a vast network. You will get overwhelmed with memories. There will be sometimes a confusion of memories. So the memory is also very selective. Saying, you're going to eat a green apple, better eat it. And that's your experience. All the other things are the background, secondary. If you want, you can recoil. So this memory that is there is nothing but a vast storehouse of everything that you have seen, heard, tasted, touched, smelled, everything. And according to Vedanta, not only in this life, previous lives also, all those things are there. These are the samskaras. Memory is a very important component in perception. You just can't have memory. There were philosophers who said, like, Okay, there's something called the tabula rasa, the clean slate. A child comes with a clean slate and everything now is written on it. That has been disproved, of course. We do come, according to modern physiology also, that we do come with a fund, or you are genetically, you can say, oriented towards understanding and learning certain things. For instance, language. You know, the basic things are hardwired, they say, in the brain. For us, we say, no, these are the experiences that you've had long time ago and you've forgotten. So there are experiences, samskaras, which can be easily recalled for a day-to-day work. There are some memories that are not so easily recalled, but they can be invoked. There are some memories that are suppressed and they bounce back again, like in the case of trauma, etc. There are some memories that are whittled down into kind of things which are weak. You remember them. Forgetting also is a part of this memory business. How we remember will be the last frontier in psychology or neurology or what we like it. It is unconsciously done. And yet you are doing it, you are remembering it. So what we see outside is also guided by our past memories, experiences. Everything that comes leaves its mark on us. And this is then organized by the mind, pigeonholed as it were, and then recalled. And that old impression has now gone back into that category, and it can come back whenever it's recalled. So much for, there's another aspect, imagination. Yes, that is, we live, there are some people who can understand they kind of stand between the imaginary world and the real world. What's an imaginary world? It's your and my world inside, created by memories and desires. So that also influences you. We imagine we are so and so and so and so, and then our mind also will go towards such things. We like certain things. So imagination is a very important part in guiding perception. Actually, we close our eyes and we see inside, there's another world inside. So this external world which is seen is there, of course. There's an internal world also now which is also seen. Now these memories that come in and they coalesce, organize, clump together, and are recalled sequentially, or sometimes due to some things like some stimulant or something like that, we know what happens. There's a kind of a disruption in the sequence of thoughts that come up. And you can see people talk incoherently when they are under influence of something. But these memories, this internal world, when they have clumped together into categories, they have a life of their own. All thought is alive. It's alive. You must understand this. Swami Vivekananda said, thoughts are things. They travel far. So we think, oh, we are alive. Yes, They are alive. And so are our thoughts. They are very much alive. And so those alive thoughts, they go, but they sometimes they sleep. They are called dormant. And they can wake up. So thoughts are things, they are alive, and they form what is called the receptacle of karma. This is where we get caught. This karma, it say, oh, it's my past karma, past impressions. I just can't break through. Yeah, because you are trying to break through your old life, your old experiences. They are not sitting down fossilized. Oh, they were once living things and now they are fossilized. No, in this case, the fossils still have life. Like you pick up some 10,000-year-old, you can say, grain or a seed, and replant it and nourish it, and then it suddenly starts sprouting. Hey, what happened? Every thought is like that. That's why Swami Vivekananda says, so be careful what and how you think, because it not only binds you, but your thoughts can go out. There is something called, we'll come down to it, everything is in this universe is in the form of waves. There are waves coming through, waves of energy. In concentric circles, they come and they are being countered by the internal concentric circles of waves, energy waves. Sometimes those waves are enhanced, sometimes the waves are diminished, sometimes those other waves are countered, etc. So we may not realize we have a vast universe within us and outside us. We don't see it like that, but then you will say, oh, how is your energy today? We are trying to, in a way, but how's your energy today? Oh, I've got no energy today. That's got a bad energy, bad vibes. We will see hear all these things, which is a good thing. I go to some place, oh, that place has got bad vibes. Huh? What is bad vibes? The place, it's the people there, they have thought all these things. And after they have left also, those waves, thought waves, are still alive there. Maybe sticking to the walls. But they are in the atmosphere. That's why certain places you go, you feel so great. Certain places you go and you feel, it's like all the energy is being sucked out of you. Another factor, this sensory, like Sri Ramakrishna says, for perception, what do you need? We need three things. We need the objects outside, we need the senses, and we need the mind. Three things are necessary for perception. So you've seen we are dealing with all these three. So we spoke about the limitations of our senses. Your senses are limited. All the senses are subject to illusions. That's why they say magicians and illusionists, they make use of all these things. They know, they have studied the limitations in perception. So like there are optical illusions, there are auditory illusions, there are tactile illusions, everything. So we are living in what? What kind of world are we living in? Yeah, the seer, the experienced, here you are. And we think so great about ourselves. Yeah, there's no doubt about it. You ought to feel great. You don't feel, we are useless. So every senses is subject to illusions. Okay, and even now it has been clear. Even neurology exploits these things, the perceptual illusions. Then we have something called psychosis. The definition is the collection of symptoms that affect the mind where there has been some loss of contact with reality. During psychosis, a person's thoughts and actions tell them something different. There are, apart from the psychosis, like in psychosis, there are these hallucinations and delusions. I remember somebody I know who is in Hollywood. Why don't you switch the phone on? No. Why do you have it? Oh, the FBI is tracking me. And you might see that guy is delusional, clearly, but now they know, Whenever there's a helicopter going out, they are watching me. Yeah. So I said, you're not so important that they're going to watch you. No, you don't know. They're watching me all the time. They're telling me things through television, this and that. Clearly, the guy's gone off the rails. So we met, oh, that guy was psychotic. But the thin line between psychosis and non-psychosis is very flimsy. And it moves constantly. What you think is normal is not really normal. It moves. Sometimes we think, why did I say that crazy thing or do something crazy? Oh, yeah. No, the line has come back. So it moves. So this affects our perceptions also. There's no doubt about it. What we are seeing is now a world that is now synced. The external world and the internal world is synced inside. That's what Vedanta has been trying to hammer it into us. You are not separate. Apparently you are separate, but you are actually one with it. This external world is not the cause of bondage, they say. This internal world, this world of ours, is the cause of bondage. And this is where you got to start dismantling it. So how do we do that? So go and control the mind. You must be crazy. You must be joking. Control the mind? I never knew there was such a thing, controlling the mind. But that's the very first step, Vedanta will say. How? By controlling thought. Okay. But let's go down to this. So we can see that the external world is the seen. These eyes are the seer. The senses itself are the seen. And the mind is the seer. I think we can get this right. This is external eyes. But what sees the eyes? Yeah, suppose you cannot see clearly, or you're having a double vision. Oh yeah. So there's a perceiver of the senses itself. Oh, I cannot hear properly. I need a hearing aid. And this and that. So the mind is called a perceiver. And who perceives the mind then? Well, some of the mind, oh, today my mind is very restless. Today the mind is dull. Today the mind is sharp. And I'm trying to recall something and I succeed. Here it is. So there is a mechanism separate from the mind itself. And that in Vedanta is called the buddhi, the intellect. Now this intellect is always one, is joined to something called a will. There is no separate faculty called a will. It's a will. You're trying to meditate, you're trying to control the mind, and then the various thoughts are arising. What do? You're using your willpower to control that mind, to push all the thoughts away, and to focus it on the mantra or the deity, etc. So clearly you can see the great difference between the intellect, buddhi, and the mind. That's why the mind is an experienced, it's an experience, and the intellect is the experiencer. Now you can see how, Vedanta uses this conundrum of ours to analyze things, because ultimately is talking about, hey, what is this reality that the Vedanta is speaking about and all that? What reality? Here, you are that reality. But me? I am dumb. How can I be the reality? There is reality dumb. Now, there's something called, there are layers of you, and they need to be peeled back, or one has to enter into them and see. We are merely living on the surface. So once you go down deeper, you will see, oh, this also is me. Yes. So this intellect is the same. And we can see in people are judged principally by the intellect. Intelligence is a defining factor in what you do and say, and your behavior and everything. It has created or recreated this world for us. We create and recreate our own selves. It is intelligence. And this is the one thing that's displayed everywhere. It's not only in us, okay. Yeah. You can see there are some intelligent, the dog is intelligent, huh? Look at that. Huh? Even the spider, somebody might get phobia, but the spider also is intelligent. And so are the other insects and snakes and reptiles and birds. They're very intelligent. This whole universe, whole life is nothing but a display of intelligence. Not just a mind, otherwise we would have been automatons. There is another faculty within, which is called the buddhi, the intellect, which is the real seer. You can see when you're feeling sad, oh, I'm feeling sad. Oh, these troubling thoughts are rising. There is a witness of all whatever rises in the mind. So you might call it the subjective side of the mind and the objective side of the mind. The objective side of the mind has all these memories, as we have said, and the intellect is okay. We've spoken about everything as is waves, concentric waves coming in. And the double slit experiments and all this, and that's the nature of the world. People are surprised. Oh, we were fooled by this atomic theories. They are there. We have atoms. Oh, there's the smallest undivisible matter. Okay, all right. They used to call it atomus in ancient Greece. And we used to call it anu. Smallest. And it's a normal experience. Okay, you have this, and it keep on dividing, subdividing, and breaking and breaking and breaking, grinding it down to its very final components. Oh, you get a small piece. Because this is the big piece, the smaller piece. So that was, but that piece of atom or molecule works in waves. And this is where it says the whole universe is actually nothing but a wave form. Yes, this whole universe is nothing but waves, waves and waves and waves. So go to the ocean and you'll see waves. The nature of reality itself is everything that comes to you is waves. The green apple does not come to me directly first. It comes to me as waves. This is called a chitta vritti. And we have seen there's something coming from outside, waves, and another set of internal concentric waves coincide. This is what it is. So in the Yoga Sutras, Patanjali says, Tada drashtu swarupe avasthanam. At the time of intense concentration, or is called sampragnata samadhi. In that state, the drashtu, the seer, remains in its own unmodified state. Oh, what? Unmodified? It was modified, as it were, by these waves. You have a mirror, and then you have somebody dancing in front of the mirror. Then what happens? The mirror thinks, I'm dancing. Crazy, you're not dancing. Somebody else is dancing. But things are reflected on that. But suppose you tell that dancer, stop dancing. Then what happens? There's no modification here. This is called a seer. At that time of intense concentration, where the waves in the mind are stilled. Now you know what the waves are. All these. When they're stilled, the seer remains in its own unmodified state. It is, so you will say, oh, there's something. Yes, there's something even beyond the intellect. What is the seer? Oh, that's consciousness. Or you call it the Atman, or Purusha, or whatever like. So all these waves are playing on the screen of consciousness. And that consciousness thinking, I'm dancing, I'm singing, I'm talking, I'm working, and this. And consciousness gets deluded. The next sutra is Vritti Sarupyam Itaratra. At other times, the seer is identified with the modification, the seen. That's why we this bondage, the two things are separate, and yet they came. As I said, that this, though separate, yet we feel identified with it. Otherwise, no perception would have been possible. There is an identification. Similarly, when these waves come, the consciousness thinks, yeah, they're part of me. So what do? Oh, quell the waves. Easier said than done. That's a problem. So what is consciousness? Oh, that's the final frontier, the final search. Why final? It is actually you. You have got mixed up with these external world, the senses, the mind with its memories, illusions and limitations, etc. And you got identified with the intellect, and that is why. You pinch somebody saying, oh, that hurts. Don't pinch me. How do you do that? Now consciousness, oh, we all, that consciousness, okay. In the Upanishads, it's very clear. They say you have to start a kind of reverse journey. Merge the objects in the senses. They say the objects are greater than the senses. Why? These objects, yeah, they are part of you in a way, as we explained. But if it wasn't for light, the apparatus of my visual field would not develop at all. So these things were there, and so evolution shaped my sensory organs to experience them and connect them together. So what do? Merge the senses in the mind. Yached vang manasi pragnya. Put it there. Merge it. Tad yached jnana. Then merge that mind in the intellect. Jnana atmani. Jnana atmani mahati. And now this is the step. That is, you'll have to take this leap at one point of your spiritual journey, where this individual consciousness has to leap or understand that it is part of a vast consciousness, infinite consciousness. Mahat, it goes to the cosmic mind. The individual mind is merged in the cosmic mind, or the individual consciousness is merged in the cosmic consciousness. Oh, that cosmic consciousness is called Hiranya Garbha, the golden wound. Where is that? It is everywhere. Your consciousness, my consciousness, is everything, is actually Hiranya Garbha at its background. So you have got to telescope things. And then it's over. No. Vedanta does not go. It's not a halfway house. We don't want to have. You go. Now from there, from that higher Mahati Param Avyaktam, it goes to the unmanifest. I want to explain things, the seed of the universe. So you're telescoping things, you're going back to the seed of the universe, because there the universe is in its unmanifested form. Tadyachet Shanta Atmi. And then you go to the absolute consciousness. So till the Hiranya Garbha and that seed unmanifest, you're still in the relative realm of consciousness. Oh, consciousness has, yes, consciousness has, it's apparently, as I said, modified because of that. The mirror is reflecting all these waves. That's why it appears relative. And when the whole thing is merged, it becomes absolute consciousness. That is the real seer. But where is that real seer? Somewhere out there. This is a problem which Vedanta wants to tackle. Our mind constantly wants to project things outside. Everything that we project outside. So any faults in me, I project outside. Not my fault. It is because of that. This person, that person, this. Yeah. And all my fears and anxieties and all these things, all over again, I project outside. And I say, where is God? And these questions, where is God? Can't you see all these things are happening here in this world? As if God is responsible for all our stupidities. You are responsible for your stupidity. You are making this world a bloody mess. And now you want to, what God is doing? That poor God. He played for everything. from the, that's why hiding is hiding. I don't want to be seen. The guys will catch me. I'm just personalizing it. That God is there within us. That God is that consciousness. You are conscious, that's the reality. Now dig deeper and deeper, and you will find vaster and vaster dimensions opening up to you. And as it opens up to you, oh, I am that mighty consciousness that is there. Then you will see everywhere are the hands and feet and heads and sarvata pani padam tat sarvatok shishiro sarvata shrutimalloki sarvam avritya. That exists, pervading everything. From the smallest to the highest, that consciousness pervades everything. And thank God for modern research. Now they are saying, yeah, this consciousness is everywhere. It's not only in us. And the consciousness studies have got one problem. They have identified it with the mind. We don't. We have separated. Not only we're far away from the mind. These waves in the mind, they reflect on that consciousness, and the consciousness thinks, I'm in the brain. Oh, you're not in the brain. You're everywhere. This is the real seer, the real experiencer. We are experiencing this all the time. We are experiencers, because even we experience things when we fall asleep. That's another wave that rises, but you experience that also. The only thing we do not know. How do we know? That consciousness has a quality of knowing itself. How does that happen? That's a nature. That's why it's called consciousness. There's a right word to explain, to consciousness. I know. I'm aware. So in Sanskrit it's called chit, consciousness. So, and it has the quality of existence, and it has the quality of bliss. So here we are. You are the experiencer. You are the seer and that nothing can ever change. Vedanta has been breaking its head. The sages have been breaking their heads, telling you can't disassociate yourself from your real nature. But only thing, you're putting your eyes blindfolded, you're putting your hands over your eyes and I can see. That has been a problem. So Vedanta is, the whole thing is just take it off. And then the blindfolded mind also is, the screen is open. The intellect also, the blindfolds are dropped, then you see. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Ram Krishna Arpanamastu. Okay, nothing. They wanted a little volume. I think I was audible, is it? All else, the sensory experience. So the questions for in-person can be taken down below. So we have a few announcements. Next Sunday is a very big day for all of us. Holy Mother's worship. starting from 11 to 1. It is also potluck, so you go out on the website and say what you're going to get. So there will be a ritualistic worship and coupled with songs, etc. And there will be a small talk, and we'll break for the potluck lunch. Wednesday, Gospel of the Holy Mother, a reading and discussion via Google Meet by Swami Brahmatmananda. Friday, 7 p.m., self-knowledge, Atma Bodh, year. Sunday, Mother's Children, of course. So, puja we have at 1. And a special announcement, the Sunday school children are now collecting old, gently used, old garments and new garments for the homeless. So, the last date is Christmas Day. So, if you'd like to donate something for the homeless, do something for the homeless, please do that. Okay, and then upcoming survey. We wanted to have a survey whether should we shift our timing to 11 a.m. for the talk or keep it at 10. You go and put in your opinions there. Again on the website. On the newsletter, sorry, on the newsletter.